Welcome to the Dacus Report, hosted by Pacific Justice Institute founder and president Brad Dacus. For 25 years, PJI has counseled, represented, and defended people whose religious freedoms, parental rights, or sanctity of life have been obstructed or violated, all free of charge. We leave no one behind and level the playing field for Americans as they are subjected to the tyranny of the powerful. Now, here's Brad Dacus.
Welcome to the Dacus Report. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Brad Dacus, president of the Pacific Justice Institute.
Folks, I hope you had a nice New Year's. I know we did. I normally, people often stay up till midnight. Well, I'm on the West Coast. So you know what I did? I waited till 9 p.m., saw the ball come down in New York City, and I went to bed by 9:30, I think it was. So it was, I had a great New Year's. As far as I'm concerned, that's a wonderful New Year's. But I hope you had a great New Year's. And today we're going to talk on today's show about things moving forward into 2026, both internationally as well as here in the United States, and some reasons that we at Pacific Justice Institute are very excited, very positive of 2026. I think I feel more positive about 2026 than I have in a long time about as far as this time of year. This is a wonderful time, and we're going to talk about that. And help me do that, I have Rocky Radcliffe on our show. Thank you for joining us, Rocky.
Thank you, Brad. It's going to be a great show today.
Yeah, it is. Now, Rocky, for people who may not understand, you actually work with the Pacific Justice Institute. You're on our staff. And what are some of the things that you do at PJI?
Yeah, so I've been able to help run with a lot of our donor relations because obviously here at Pacific Justice Institute, we're a nonprofit. So as people give to us, it's a blessing, and that's how we're able to do everything God has called us to do, is because people give and God provides through that. So I work with a lot of our donors, people that give to us monthly. They join the fight, join the battle with us, and I'm able to do a lot of our events, help oversee those. I know we're going to talk about America Fest today.
Right.
I was able to help with that. And now I'll actually be transitioning to doing more of our projects because I'll be helping to be a missionary in Mexico. I know we've talked about that. I can only imagine if I broke that news here on the show, but I know we've talked about that. So I'll be transitioning to be a missionary in Mexico, but I'll also still be working with PGI being on staff. So yeah. It's a blessing to be able to have that opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's great. I know when you talked to us about that, we thought, okay, we'll work with you. You want to do work with missionary work in Mexico? Fantastic. How would you like to still be on our staff, and what would you like to do? We do that at PJI. We don't just, say, okay, well, let's see ya. We love to work with people and reward them for following the calling of God, what it may be in their life, which is what you're doing. And that's fantastic. And you're already encouraged. Apparently, the fields are ripe there in Mexico. A lot of people are responding to the gospel. Is that what you've seen, people coming to Christ in Mexico?
Yeah, they're so open. Like I was sharing with you, obviously we are Christian, and us working with people in a sense, the Catholic faith has already kind of made a little bit of a segue for us, but that's where we come in and we bring clarity, of who Jesus really is, and that we're not saved by just rituals and religion, but we're saved by having a personal faith, personal confession in Jesus. And so the only way to the Father is through the Son. And so that's what we're able to do there. So people are open, right, because of that. And we're working with a lot of the hurting people, the broken people there. And so it's really been a blessing. Obviously, it has its dangers. We're talking about the corruption with the police and the government, which I've cartel that I've single-handedly experienced. But nevertheless, the just shall live by faith. And that's been my verse. That's been my verse as I transition to this new season. God, you've called me to live by faith. It is you leading me here. I'm not just doing it because it's a good idea, but it's you that has stirred me up to go here. It's you leading, and I am walking by faith. So that's right. the aim this season.
Yeah, and I think that's great what you're doing, and I think it's important for us to remember as Christians, God's doing an incredible thing here in this country. This last year, we have seen revival. I don't use that word loosely. It is significant. It's widespread. Gen Zs are now, that's 18 to 24-year-olds, are now have a higher church attendance on average than millennials, than Gen Xers, and baby boomers.
Wow.
God's working in an incredible way. Bible sales are up 36%.
Wow.
There's all the quantitative measurables that as we look at, we see that. And the churches that are growing are not the dead churches that are heretical, like First United Methodist or the Episcopal or some of the liberal Presbyterian PCUSA or some of the liberal Lutherans. No, the churches that are growing are the Christian churches, the ones that preach the full gospel, the full word of God.
Yeah, full counsel.
They preach what is sin. They don't qualify it. They don't dilute it. They don't celebrate sin. No, they preach, this is sin, and this is the way and the only way, and that's through faith in Jesus Christ, because he's the only payment. He's the only one who can satisfy our debt.
Wow.
So I'm just really encouraged what I see in the United States, but at the same time, I'm also encouraged to see what's happening in other countries. The God Spirit's moving. I've heard in the Middle East, in Iran, there are so many Christians that the gospel has just grown like crazy. People coming to Christ in Iran and China. It's still just going on. India, people are coming to Christ.
Wow.
So we really have a lot to celebrate. And then when I was in Norway last year, I was speaking at a Media Research Center conference. They invited me in, and my wife was with me, and we went into a little Bible bookstore in a little Norwegian town. And I'll never forget this. We asked the lady there, because I was sort of discouraged. I saw all these rainbow banners in the streets everywhere, just in your face. And it was just heartening to me to see how lost people are there, And then we go in the Bible bookstore, and I said, well, how are things going? You get discouraged? She goes, oh, no. She says, God's Spirit's pouring out. I said, what do you mean? She goes, we started 9 churches in 9 different Norwegian towns. They're all growing. And the young people are flooding the churches, not the older. Young people are. And they're coming to Christ.
Wow.
And there's great revival here in Norway.
I think that's so amazing, because what always shocked me, one of the early biblical truths that I realized was that when Jesus said, I will build my church on this rock and the gates of Hades shall not prevail. And what has always shocked me is that no matter how much persecution the church has faced through thousands of years, it is still, the gates of Hades has still not prevailed. It's like, it's such a testament that I've seen that no matter what oppression the church has faced in any part of the world, no matter what systems have been put up against it, the most, complex opposing systems, nevertheless, God's church, true church, has stood its ground. And I just think that's so amazing, so beautiful.
It really is. Recently, I went ahead and took the plunge, and I started taking these courses from Hillsdale. I did the Constitution 101 class, and I thought to myself at first, I'm a constitutional law attorney.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for almost 3 decades. I've been doing it for 3 decades, easy. And, what are they going to tell me that I don't already know? I mean, I'm just being honest with you, right? Went to one of the top 20 law schools in the country, did a dissertation paper on constitutional rights, First Amendment, Well, I went in and took the course, and I was so impressed with it.
Wow.
The quality of understanding the Constitution versus what was being proposed, and then how it applies today versus the progressivism or new left attack on it. And it just really spells it out. It's an excellent course, folks. Constitution 101, Hillsdale. It's free. You can watch it.
Wow.
So the other course I took recently was dealing with the ancient church, which is the first 400 years of the early Christian church, actually even before the Christian church. What was happening there in Israel, what was happening among the empires and all. And it was so impressive. And one of the things that I thought was so impressive about it was what you just said, how God in his own way worked things perfectly with, as far as in the cusp of time for when Christ came. And at the same time, the perseverance of the church. And even though there was heavy persecution, the church still grew. The Constantine, when he came into power, the first Christian Roman Empire, emperor. People in history books, they'll say, "Oh, that's when he made everyone be a Christian, and that's why we're Christians today, because he made everyone be a Christian." That wasn't true. When he became a Christian, about 40% of Rome was already Christian.
Wow.
First off, number two, he didn't outlaw any pagan religions. They had the full freedom to do what they want to do. And then after Constantine, his kids turned out not to be such good winners.
Wow.
And they persecuted the church. Wow. And the church had more persecution and more persecution. And it still grew because of the promise right? The gates of Hades will not prevail. And I think that's what's so encouraging us as Christians as we look into 2026.
Let me pick your brain real quick, Brad. Is obviously we see that with the Church of Jesus Christ. Now let's look at the contrary, Islam, right? And I learning about how they would often they move through government rather than the grace of God because they don't have it. That's the truth,
Right.
The Church of Jesus Christ has the grace and the just really the grace and just the sovereignty of God on its side.
At PJI, we exist to serve everyone in need of counsel, representation, and defense of their religious liberties, parental rights, and the sanctity of life. We don't take cases based on how high profile they are. We are workhorses, not show horses. Keep current on PJI's work on all the legal challenges we face on a daily basis by signing up for our Legal Insider email newsletter at pji.org. Now, back to the Dacus Report.
For people who own a home out there, they'll get this text message like, yeah, this is Jay, and I was in your neighborhood. I was in your neighborhood, and I saw your house. I was just interested in maybe an offer on it, and we'll close quickly, and just call me back at this number. And so I call back at that number, and it's someone from the Philippines or China or Vietnam, and some guy. Probably some guy named Jay or whatever in the United States is doing this to try to just massively contact people across the country to find out if he can find a sucker to take advantage of to buy the house for much less than what it's worth.
Exactly.
Shame on the man.
Yeah.
He's trying to take advantage of widows and elderly people who don't know what their houses are worth. We got to be really protective of our elderly in particular. But when we see that kind of stuff, I've said, take me off your list. And if you don't, you're going to violate the law of the state of California and it's going to be heavily fined.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take me off the list because it's not in the United States.
Yeah. Wow.
They know they can get away with it. They're in China, Philippines, some third world country.
Yeah.
So
and it's important that people, when they get those calls, now there's options on your iPhone. And I believe Android as well. When you receive that call, you can actually report it as a scam, and it goes directly to Apple or to whatever Android company. So when you receive a call or a text, people can report it. So it's important that they do.
They push that button where it says report as a scam or
exactly, or as a junk scam or
scam, something like that. You press that button always. Yeah,
exactly, for the call and for the text. And I even want to mention too, Brad, that if you are somebody who is elderly or you're just not tech savvy in general, that there is hope. There is hope, because sometimes there can be an anxiety that I see where people, they get every call and they're just worried and they're scared. And it's sad that that's what we've come to. And that's how people have taken advantage of cell phones and text. But I really believe that as you begin to train yourself, as you begin to really see and begin to learn what is AI, what is real, it's important that people train themselves to see what is real and what is not. Or else people are just going to have anxiety and not going to want to answer any call or text. So,
what I think would be a really good idea, this came to me, is for churches to tell their members, look, if you have something on the internet, you don't know if it's real or not. You don't know if it's a bill that you need to pay or something else that they're trying to get information from. You're not sure if it's really from that company or whatever.
The verifier.
Yeah, that the church, I encourage churches to let their congregation know, say, look, if you're in that situation, don't be embarrassed. They're trying to fool all of us. You can contact the church and, or you can contact so-and-so. He's someone in our church. He'd be happy to take your call and look at what you've got.
That'd be great.
Answer your questions. So we need watchdogs, internet watchdogs, I think, in every church.
That'd be great.
This is just an idea that came to me. Maybe God gave it. I don't know. But where we can protect our people, especially our elderly and people like me. I don't think of myself as elderly. I have gray, but I don't think, I'm not. But it's easy for us to be taken advantage of. You don't have to, be in a nursing home. So, but to be taken advantage of. So I think this is an idea. Maybe mention it to your pastor folks. Say, hey, this is an idea. The fraud is so massive. It's taking money from people in our church. And that's money that they're not going to be able to tithe anymore to our church. Maybe put in a little carnal perspective.
Yeah.
Pastor, understand.
Yeah.
Say, bottom line, if our elderly get scammed, this church is not going to get much in the way of tithing because they're going to have a hard time providing for themselves when they lose $50,000. I know a pastor scammed $50,000. Another pastor got scammed investing in Iraqi currency or something like this.
Wow.
Total scam. So I think this is something that churches need to address because it is widespread. And maybe in the church bulletin, have like a little update, internet fraud update. This is what to watch for. This is what's coming on. So, and that could be a nice incentive for people to come to church. I better go to church, so I'll see in the bulletin update of the latest fraud thing I need to be aware of. I don't know, man.
I think that'd be excellent. I think that's a great avenue, which is the churches. I think that'd be a great avenue, and I think that's something that we can start and look into. I haven't heard of that yet, to be honest. I haven't heard of too many online watchdogs, or at least they have a big enough platform yet. But I think that would be great for us to start, great for us to encourage, right? Because we have a lot of people who don't have many relationships or connections or even family, but they have a church. They do have a church they attend, big or small, and they could utilize that to really make sure they're not getting scammed or anything like that.
And most Americans, elderly, I say middle-aged, we're very vulnerable. Even young people can be scammed, but it's very vulnerable. It's widespread. So I think it's something we should do something about. And you could do it right now with your church. Talk to your pastor about it. See if there's some young whippersnapper there that knows about the internet and all this stuff and has the ability to perceive and assess things. And just a thought or idea. Because you have a website, everyone goes to a certain website, but it still could be very difficult for them to understand whether their particular bill that they got sent to them is legit or not, because things are always changing. So I think that could be a good thing. All right. On a real positive note, and I like ending things on positive notes, I just guest preached at a church. It was a Calvary Chapel of San Clemente last Sunday. It was exciting. It was a great opportunity. I love the pastor, wonderful people there. But I was leaving, one of the ladies there, she says, I saw one of your reruns of your show, and it was, I think, during the Biden administration. So I guess it was an old rerun. And that maybe I was sick that day, so I played a rerun. And she said, and I was just crying. It was just so depressing.
Wow.
All the stuff I saw, the things that are happening, it's just so depressing. And it sort of hit me in the heart. I was thinking, oh, dear, I don't want people being depressed. Because there's so much good to rejoice in and to look at that's happening. There's a lot of, especially during the Biden administration, there were a lot of ugly things happening. It seemed like the nation was headed down to the bottom of a cesspool. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But it just sort of exhorted me to make sure that we're also making sure to let people know that they should not be in mourning. They should not be depressed. We have a lot of exciting things happening here in this country, in particular for the kingdom. And one of those things is what happened at America Fest. This is an event put on by Turning Point USA, the late Charlie Kirk's organization. And you were there. It seemed like it went pretty well.
It was an amazing time, Brad. I think being there, just for us to be able to connect with so many like-minded organizations. I think, this year it was close to 30,000 people, if I'm not mistaken.
And most of those were young people, high school, college age.
Yes. I'm grateful for Charlie Kirk because he made a way for many of these young people. I was there and I seen many high schoolers, young high school men, sophomores, juniors in high school. They're just 14, 15 years old, but they made a way to get there. Young high school girls, college men that are there, and they are there. And it is amazing how they feel the liberty. They feel the liberty to be able to speak up and wear the hats that they want to wear and wear the shirts that they want to wear and to be there. And it was just amazing, like I said, to be there with like-minded people. We're able to make a lot of great connections at Pacific Justice Institute. Moms for Liberty, many different organizations were there. I know not only did we connect with them, but I think you did some interviews too.
Yeah.
I know we did some great interviews. Was there a couple that you kind of wanted to mention that you enjoyed?
Yeah. So one was, I was interviewed by Joshua Phillip from the Epoch Times, depending on what part of the country you live in.
Yay.
In fact, I told him, I said, how do you pronounce this? He goes, they're both good. We don't really correct people. Depends on where you live. I said, okay. So Epoch Times. And it was really encouraging. They wanted to know about our hot cases that we're handling across the country. So I told them about some of our cases, including our lawsuit against the Attorney General of New Jersey for ordering every single public school teacher to be willing to lie to parents.
Wow.
Unless they're willing to, when it comes to a gender distorted or gender confused child, the teacher's supposed to cover it up, hide it from parents, lie to parents.
Wow.
And facilitate it by affirming it by using the confusion language, the pronouns. I mean,
Wow.
what decent human being who actually loves kids would ever want to encourage any kind of confusion, much less confusion that results in a spiked risk of death and suicide, and much less Christians, teachers. So we filed a very aggressive lawsuit there. Talked about the lawsuit we have defending a private Christian preschool in San Diego area, El Cajon, where they shut down a church-run Christian preschool because the children were being, quote, these are 4-year-olds, being, quote, forced to sing religious songs and hear Bible stories.
Wow.
This is not the Soviet Union. This is state of California. This is what Gavin Newsom signed into law as a matter of statutory mandate. And we're challenging that as unconstitutional. We're defending that private Christian school. People have no idea, I think, how dangerous Gavin Newsom is with his radical anti-faith, anti-Christian, persecuting policies, anti-parents' rights, persecuting parents' rights, and via terrible policies. So we talked about that, and then I think we also mentioned the Korean women's sauna up in Seattle, where this Christian-owned Korean women's sauna was told that they have to let a biological man, 100% man, go in there, strip and be naked in front of the women and their teenage daughters, and look at the women and their naked teenage daughters at the same time. I mean, it's sick. It's depravity. It's a criminal offense, except in Washington, where they actually shut down this business because they would not give in to allowing this egregious violation of human rights and dignity for teenage girls and women. So we're taking this case. These are hot cases moving fast track to the Supreme Court. So we talked about those with Epoch Times or Epic Times. Also, there's some authors we talked about some of their books. I interviewed them. The people from American Heritage Girls. That was one of the organizations that's rising up in competition to Girl Scouts, which has become so woke and so LGBT and so evil as an organization. And I like to push and promote things that are helping our young people, not bringing them down with evil presuppositions. So we talked to them. It's called American Heritage Girls. I interviewed another ministry, LifeWise Academy, which is release time programs. We have PJI. We have helped so many release time programs break through barriers that public schools try to put up.
Yeah.
And so we talked to them and pushed and promoted them, which was great. Another organization, Students for Life, and the role of Gen Z's role in the pro-life movement.
Yeah.
And
I know you met with somebody, actually one of my favorite, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain and see how that went, was Mike Winger, one of the most known apologists today. Such a clear teacher of God's word. You can find him on YouTube. He is an excellent teacher. How did that go?
That was terrible. I didn't like my interview with him at all. No, just touch him. I just I just said that because I wanted to jab you.
Yeah.
But no, Mike was fantastic. I love his perspective. I love apologetics.
Yeah.
So I was really blessed to be able to have that interview, and so that was very, very interesting.
And I believe he's coming in, right? I believe from what I know, he's coming in later this month for a Faith and Law episode, possibly.
Yeah, I think he is. So I'm looking forward to it. I like to periodically bring in apologetics, and those are people who can explain rationally, scientifically, historically why Christianity makes sense, why God exists, why Jesus did rise from the dead. And I think we as Christians need to be educated and informed so we can make an intelligent conversation for people who are intellectually sabotaged by public schools or public institutions or the media. There's other people I could talk to as well. Attorney Richard Harris, Truth and Liberty, and some other great ministries, and that interviewed me as well as I was able to have an opportunity to interview them. Very productive, very synergistic, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity we have to partner with so many of these ministries to help and serve them down the line.
I agree.
So, hey, thank you so much, Rocky, for joining us.
Brad, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I look forward to our next opportunity to visit.
We would love the opportunity to continue to serve you. Just visit pji.org and click the Legal Insider button to sign up for our email newsletter. At PJI, we help individual employees, employers, business owners, pastors, students, citizens of every stripe through our practical resources, counsel, representation, and defense, all free of charge at pji.org. PJI is an island of stability and assurance in our ever-churning sea of legal and societal chaos. We are here for you.
So, folks, just remember, it's our God-given freedoms we're talking about. Now, let's choose to keep them. I'm Brad Dacus, president of the Pacific Justice Institute. Let's continue the fight for your freedoms.